We are wrapping up the day. It has been a beautiful, wonderful Friday. And today, I want to play some Bomberman 2 Hero, but first, we're going to talk about an amazing health concept that will improve your health and fitness journey. In fact, it's a mental health concept, and how mindset can help you skyrocket your success on your fitness and health journey. Now, this is a concept that Tony Robbins used and Napoleon Hill uses, and it completely changed my life. And I have a story. I want to tell you the story because I had a very close friend in high school. His name is Joe. And we were both kind of the same type of guys. We were not a little bit, we were very nerdy. And we were very smart and we loved school. And we were kind of like shy and a little bit bashful and low self confidence. And it's really interesting because we both went on a spiritual journey. I kind of got really into Christianity, and he was always Christian. He got very academic, and he was always such a great friend. He just always knew people, and he always had friends coming over. And I was the sports guy. I always had sports days in my little group of friends. But he always had a huge group of friends come over to his house and play video games and eat food and play card games, and he was just always laughing and making people happy. And so we both had this journey of coming out of our shell, learning to love ourselves, learning to be confident, learning to believe in ourselves and accomplish great things. And I grew with him. And throughout college, he started going towards med school. And I kind of just did my Jesus thing. I was in college, but I kind of wanted to be a physical therapist, but I was secretly thinking about just being a missionary. So I didn't really care that much about school. I was kind of lowering its status compared to me being a missionary, which cool. I should have followed through with that, but now I am. Anyways, about Joe, he really, really loved the idea of being a doctor. And you guys know the path of being a doctor is grueling. It is brutal. It is extremely arduous. And he started taking leadership positions in these medical clubs at FAU, and he really started excelling, and he was always just sociable, meeting new people, pushing himself to relate to new people. And I saw him transform over the course of, I'd say, the 15 years I've known him. And we've always had very interesting discussions about spirituality and personal growth and fulfilling your destiny and becoming a stronger person. And one of the major themes that he had was he was constantly rewiring his brain. He was constantly challenging his brain against all the chances of getting into med school, because it was very hard for him to get in, against all the challenges of applications, taking the tests, passing the grueling courses, believing that he can be a leader. He had to constantly fight these demons in his head that were saying, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, everyone else is smarter than you, who are you, you're fat, you're not diligent enough, you're too lazy. He had all these demons in his head that, both of us kind of understand, because being in high school together, we were incubating those things. And sometimes, even from when you're a kid, you are incubating and nourishing all those mindsets because you're so unaware. You're just picking up all the mindsets from your parents, your friends, your experiences. And so Joe has always been a very spiritual guy, but not in the sense of, meditating and acting spiritual. He never acted religious. He never acted like he was special, really. Really great heart and spirit on that guy. But one thing he told me was he constantly had to rewire his brain. He called it not NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is basically where no matter what negative thoughts are going through his head, he will stop those negative thoughts and replace it with a thought of belief. And this is so logical. But this is really the everyday grind that we have to do. It's kind of like every single day you have to feed your body, you have to take a shower. But this is what we have to focus on every single day if we want to be healthy, if we want to be able to accomplish our goals, if we want self-discipline, if we want self-respect, if we want self-esteem, if we want self-control to be able to implement even the smallest of habits, you have to start incubating all of these positive thoughts. And I'm in the process right now because I'm coming out of a very negative place of being sick for about 15 months. And so I have all of these negative thoughts that are mostly related to fear about my health and health anxiety and food and energy and attitude and how I see myself. Because when I was sick, I nurtured a lot of those negative thoughts, and they became what the Bible calls a stronghold, where in science they would basically say that that's when your brain restructures and it's very hardwired. Not that you can't reprogram it, but it's rewired and it's almost set into the belief state of having all these negative thoughts. Now, it's one thing to have negative thoughts, but once it becomes a belief and that an identity, that's where it's scary. That's where it's a stronghold, because then it might even be invulnerable to your positive statements in a sense, because you actually don't believe the positive statements. You ever do this? You start doing positive affirmations and it just feels like it's bullshit because deep down you kind of see yourself as actually being a lazy person. That's called a stronghold. Or if you literally do not believe that you can stop any particular habit because it's just been that way for so long, it's a stronghold. And so there are ways to dismantle these strongholds, both scientifically, psychologically, and spiritually. We're going to talk about this a little bit today before we get into the Bomberman. This is talked about everywhere because this is the real challenge. This is what controls your mind, and this is what controls your life. This is what prevents you from being able to really change. You might be able to use discipline and rein yourself in for a little bit of time and change your external behavior. But if you have a stronghold in your mind, it'll always snap you right back. This is what people call ego backlash. You start trying to make a change in your life and you start trying to change, but eventually after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe you even hold out for 3 months, you'll lose some weight, you'll change your behavior a little bit, you'll quit a bad habit, but then boom, it'll come back. It'll come back with a vengeance. And then you'll just lose all the progress that you made. It's a pain in the butt. It is one of the worst things ever because it seems like all of your effort is in vain. It seems like it's hopeless. It seems like this thing just has a hold on you. Strongly, a strong hold. And so how do you start breaking these things? Because all of us have experienced what it's like to have these long-standing mental habits of thinking that you're either worse than people, or you think that you're fat, or you think that you're lazy, or you think that you don't have self-control, you can't quit this habit, you're stupid. Everybody has these strongholds in their mind, and sometimes it's not just about your health, sometimes it's about people. You have a stronghold in your mind that cannot be dismantled because it's at the level of belief. You actually believe it, as in you literally think that this person is a biatch, or you just have negative thoughts about that person and they won't be changed. Well, you've incubated and you've nurtured those seeds that have sprouted up now, and now you're in a place where it's actually not helping you. It's actually clouding your judgment to where you actually believe that your viewpoint is correct, but you don't see how it's a distortion and it's clouding your judgment, and that it's actually preventing you from opportunity, because any negative stronghold will prevent you from having healthy relationships, and it will decrease your potential and decrease your energy. For example, if you think that a certain type of girl, a certain type of woman is just, head in the sky, or just egotistical, prideful, and you incubate the stronghold of resentment. And you might not even know that you do this, but a lot of people have this, a lot of these strongholds, and they don't even realize that they have them. And what that does is, whenever you're around a person like that, that stronghold instantly distorts your perception of them, triggers emotions in you, and makes you act differently. See? So this is what's happening on so many different levels, and that's why a lot of people feel like they get triggered easily. They feel like they can't approach pretty girls. They're basically just strongholds in the mind. So my friend was able to dismantle many of these strongholds. It is a grueling process. It's like training in Taekwondo using this technique. It will literally take longer than a lot of other techniques, but you have to do it, because if you don't, then your mind is just going to have all these thoughts that are coming from everywhere, because the world is throwing thoughts at you. The world is throwing beliefs at you, suggestions. And if you don't have a force field, if you don't have a filter, if you don't have your own mechanism where you're purposely programming your own mind, you're purposely examining your own beliefs, you're very mindful, you contemplate, you examine, you're living consciously. And this is why meditation is so important. It shows you all this stuff. If you give yourself time to really think about how you think, what your beliefs are, how you behave, why, all these things will become apparent to you. And the main thing to drive home is that we're all in this together. We all have a lot of improvement that we can do. We can all step it up and be more manly about this. We can all improve in many different areas of our life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, or happiness. And the mind relates to all four of those so strongly. And what I see in the fitness industry is so much emphasis on just the externals, but they're not helping people change the strongholds in their mind. So people will get a little bit of results, but they go back. And so we have a lot of people who are struggling with these deep-seated issues, and not only physical habits, but we're talking about the emotional habits too, the self-image habits, which, if you ask me, is pretty obvious. Your self-image habits and your belief habits and your emotional habits dictate who you are on the outside too. So that's the key that nobody's really talking about, is your fitness and your health is determined by your thoughts. It's determined by your habits. It's determined by your beliefs and your identity. And so that's why we have to talk about, and it's fascinating to talk about, your inner world. So today let's talk a little bit about cognitive behavioral therapy and how it's talked about in the Bible and what this technique really is. So how I see this technique is, it's pretty much like learning the martial art and every single day just doing 1,000 punches. Just doing 1,000 punches. You're training every single day. And if you don't do this, you'll literally just get ravaged by your enemies and an animal, and you don't have any hope to really do anything in this world. If you don't consciously start training your own brain, and there's many different ways to do it, but if you don't do this, then you will just be a dead fish going with the flow, and you won't be able to have any power in this life at all. And if you don't have any power in this life, you're just lost. You are lost. You have to take control of your mind, or else the devil will eat your lunch and pop the bag. This world will chew you up and spit you out, and it will be horrible. Maybe you're young, you don't realize that now, because everything's pretty simple so far, but don't let it go until you're 30. Don't let your brain get molded into these ossified, crystallized forms, because once you're 30, things start getting a little bit harder to rewire. When you're in your 20s, things you can bounce back, you have all the energy. So what you want to do is learn this technique and use it every day, thousands of times, as often as you can. Okay? So Napoleon Hill talks about this. He calls it positive mental attitude, PMA. He calls it outwitting the devil. And this is what he talks about with his auto-suggestion, the morning routine, the self-confidence formula, the dream board. He's very mental about achieving success. And Tony Robbins talks about this too. So basically, it's just as simple as what we talked about. Whenever you feel yourself feeling down or low energy or feeling triggered or weird or maybe even a little bit sick, whenever you feel that disturbance happening, Take a second, breathe deep, and just start becoming aware of what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your body. Release and let go for a second. Really feel into it. Take a few more deep breaths and just see what's going on. Try to become as conscious as you can of the thoughts that are happening, the emotions that are happening, because this will tell you what to counter it with. All right? Sometimes your thoughts are ambiguous and kind of like they're these monsters that you can't really see because they're in the dark. Once you just breathe, you relax, you start becoming more aware and mindful, then you'll start to understand, all right, this happened to me today. I'm having a little bit of health anxiety regarding food, and I'm feeling a little bit frustrated that I'm still dealing with this. And so you just sit with it a little bit, you understand what you're feeling, you understand what thoughts are kind of happening, what emotions are happening, you identify it, and then what you do is you start reciting positive affirmations. And it really helps if you have like a history of different things to pull on, like positive affirmations. You have to know what to say to counter these things. They're like your weapons. They're like your little dagger that you pull out. You have a long sword. You have to have your weapons ready. And so that's why we do the positive affirmations in the morning. It could just be as simple as saying, no, I'm strong. I'm completely healed. I can eat anything. Or it could be as simple as, let's say, for example, you're having a little bit of drama and you get triggered because somebody says something about your body. Take a deep breath, and you can just internally, or when you're alone, you can physically say this, which is even more powerful. You can say, okay, I got triggered, but I will not let this pettiness overtake me. I will not let my mind be overwhelmed by pettiness and drama and anger. I'm far above that. I am a greater human being. I am the bigger man. I can forgive. I can let go, and I can laugh at it. I can laugh at it. I think it's funny that, I can look at the situation and maybe she was just being insensitive. That's her problem. I don't get offended by those things, and I'm going to move on with my day, and I'm going to do some gratitude right now. I'm so grateful for my health, my job. I'm so grateful for how beautiful I am on the inside. I'm getting better and better every day. So, you see what I mean? You intellectually can understand the situation better once you get some clarity. Get some clarity on the situation, and then you can use positive statements, positive affirmations to give yourself a new perspective on the situation so that your mind doesn't just accidentally just start thinking, oh, Susan, how the hell could she say something so insensitive? She's such an ass. And then you're building up a stronghold against Susan, right? Because you never fleshed it out. You never said, well, maybe you never gave yourself the time to literally use this technique and start throwing some punches and saying, well, I feel these negative thoughts and negative emotions. I'm going to throw some punches and say, well, maybe she was just having a bad day. Well, maybe she just has never been taught. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of friends because she says stuff like this. You start understanding her. You start using your mind to start thinking higher thoughts. You start using your heart to start feeling compassion and forgiveness and love. You start connecting to your higher self and asking yourself, what would Jesus do? What would Tony Robbins do? What would Napoleon Hill do? What would these great men that I admire do? How would they think? And you start thinking like that. You're throwing punches. You're not letting your brain go and build these strongholds about, oh, now I'm offended. Oh, she's just such an ass. If you get triggered and you feel that, it's okay to acknowledge that your ego got triggered. You take a deep breath. You acknowledge it. You feel into it. You let it be there. You don't suppress, okay? You're not suppressing. You feel into it and you let it expand. Maybe you even go on a fast, brisk walk so that you're not shoving down emotions, anything somatically, like Yogananda, a yogi, he suggested this very interesting technique that works. You take a deep 2 breaths and you tense all your muscles for 20 seconds and then you release with a whoo, whoo. Okay? Now, if you're in a meeting, you can't do the second part, but you can go Again, you're not going to make the sound, but it'll also kind of look weird if you're squeezing all your muscles. But this is something that releases the physical tension in your body so that you're not suppressing these emotions, right? So you get rid of the emotion and you just use this technique. You start throwing some punches, you get a better perspective on it, you can take control of your mind, you think high, you think like a master, you think like Christ, you think like somebody who has high moral virtue. And that's how you reprogram and stop these petty thoughts from triggering not wrong, but negative emotions in you that are going to constantly chip away at you. You're not going to let those negative ideas about yourself and insecurities get fed more and more and more, because that's how they became a stronghold. You get offended, you feed it, you start thinking about it. You're on defensive. Start going on offensive and start reprogramming your brain. And don't let yourself be torn down by worry, by anger, by drama, by low self-esteem. You look in the mirror and you just start thinking like, oh man, that guy is like so ugly, or that guy's out of shape. Oh man, he's so fucking fat. That's when you have to use this technique. Start throwing some punches. Start applying some unconditional love, and then say what Jesus would say to you. Say what a good friend would say to you. Say what a loving Mother Teresa would say to you. What would this higher person think? And start saying that. And just start thinking and saying that. You counter these things. The Bible says that the weapons of our warfare are not physical, but spiritual, for the tearing down of strongholds and any high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. So that's what your weapons are. It's for casting down these strongholds in any imagination that exalts itself against God's word. So God's word says that you're healed, you're blessed, you're powerful, you're loved, that you have all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. And so anything that starts coming against righteousness and that feels wrong, you start casting it down. This is how you tear down that stronghold. Now this is one way. It's throwing punches and kicks. Now when we start talking about changing your brain state and getting into these deep meditative states that can actually permeate into your subconscious, now that's level 2. That's like taking out a bazooka. But you can't always use that bazooka, because you need some training. You need 20 minutes to do the meditations. You need to be in the right state, in the right environment. But you always got to be able to throw some punches and do some karate, okay? So these are the hidden factors that a lot of people underestimate when it comes to your health journey, even. They underestimate your emotions, they underestimate your thoughts, they underestimate all of these things that go into what makes your habits. So even if it comes down to just wanting to change a habit, like you don't want to eat this junk food, but then what comes up is all this rubbish in your mind. See, it's all mind. It's just a little bit won't hurt. I've done it for so long. I don't have the self-control. There's always thoughts associated with these things. It's just you don't notice it. And so I'm big on teaching people how to use meditation to change these strongholds that are very strong, so that you see yourself as the person who doesn't eat that kind of stuff. But even in the moment, I want you to start implementing this and start countering negative thoughts. Let's say you do take the candy bar, you eat something unhealthy. Counter the negative thoughts about like, oh, you're such a fat ass. You're so stupid. You're so low discipline. I can't believe you did that. God, you never do this and that. You just start shitting on yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. See, this is also when you use this technique, the CBT. All right? So you already know how. But that's the mental health breakdown that I wanted to talk about. I'm using it a lot for my physical health, overcoming health anxiety, overcoming a little bit of melancholy, overcoming frustration and anger. And this stuff works. Stuff works. It's another weapon on your waistband of weapons. All right? So think about this, meditate about it, and start catching yourself and using these positive affirmations, these positive thoughts and these reframes, okay? Start connecting to these positive figures, these higher figures, and thinking and speaking how they would, okay? This will change your results in how you feel, in how you act, in how you think. It'll start building up your self-esteem, your self-control, and it'll start building you into the person who you really want to be. All right, this deserves the attention. This will build you into a more powerful person that can accomplish more. And sometimes you're not going to feel like doing it. That's all right. Still do it. Still do it, even if you don't feel like doing it. Still do it. This is going to take energy. And sometimes you're going to feel like you don't want to do it. Don't give in to that weak thought. That's just a weak thought. Your mind is your sacred temple. Your mind is your business. And if you run your business right, everything in your life will flower. It's all about renewing the mind. I've even watched videos of people who have healed themselves from long-term conditions like CFS that they've had for 5 or 10 years through using this technique. This is a powerful technique. This is the technique. You gotta learn the basic martial arts. All right? So implement this, start using it, and I believe that that'll bless you. Without further ado, we have a little bit of time. Let's have some fun. Let's play some Super Bomberman. Here's some basic teas, just turmeric and water. Great to calm you down before bed. All right, we're in the middle of World 2. Let's do it. What do we got? And I'm telling you guys, that technique works. It just works. I think I told you guys I'm dealing with food sensitivities. So I think I ate either too much or... We'll get that guy. Or I ate some cucumbers and my body didn't like it for some reason. Oh no. Oh no, you bastard. Something about this game. We're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot. The Pokemon Ironmon. It's just, the art is so great. And it's a little bit more interesting if you ask me. But this is still a good throwback. This is building some patience in me. Alright. I really don't like these guys. Alright. Get him out of here. Twofer. Ooh. Not gonna let him come this way again. Yeah! Oh! Okay. For some reason I thought that the furnace was gonna fire me up. Man, he keeps on dodging it. Yeah, I'm safe. That's scary. So anyway, I used the technique after I ate the cucumbers. And I'm just telling you, it works. I'm storing my energy. Made me feel calm again. Some kind of weird food allergy or something that thinks that it can survive. Thinks that it can stick around. I'm telling you, I'm healed, baby. I am healed, baby. I'm telling you, this is... Oh no! Why did I go? Oh, starting over. Oh, that's the thing. You gotta start over. Oh, this teaches me patience, huh? This really teaches you patience. Ooh, baby. What am I gonna do? Put one there for him. Hate it when it's all crazy. Got him. Aww. Oh, jeez. God, that was close. Yeah, I'm telling you. Your mind has so much power over your physical body, whether it's energy, whether it's your mood, whether it's your attitude towards others. You just stay positive. It's so cliche, isn't it? But you know, remembering these techniques really, really help. And it gets easier and easier and easier as you go on. The hardest thing is the start. Got him. It's a cute little sound he makes when he dies. Gotta be so careful, because at any time it can just light you up. You know, I think streaming this game makes it harder because... yeah, I'm talking and it distracts me. Oh, I can't wait to get a controller. It's gonna feel so good to have the OG Super Nintendo controller playing this game instead of on the keyboard. Success! Ooh, alright. Macho. Ooh, dude. Ooh, look at this bomb. God, that's like a 9-power bomb. I think he's just gonna kill himself. At least they don't hurt you when they run into you, you know? Okay, it doesn't go through. Oh, I hit the door. Oh, a heart. Oh, see, he's just gonna kill himself. Oh, dude, you jerk. I can go too, yeah, special. This guy is easier than the first guy. This guy's an idiot, man. This guy is so basic. Just because your bomb is big, you're just an idiot, dude. As I almost died in. Oh. He's just gonna kill himself. I almost just died, man. Oh no! This dude! Oh, smack talk. Now I gotta eat it, man. All that smack talk. Alright, bring it on, man. Oh yeah, you're so macho. We are so close. Okay, I got 2 bombs. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, almost got him twice in a row. Oh! Oh, this dude. Okay. Okay, now we fight his robot form. You know what? Oh, that's the climax. We gotta play it. We gotta play it. Alright. Let's see what he's got. Oh! Alright. Alright, well, that settles that. Sure. But we made progress, guys. Oh yeah. I remember what it's doing. What it's doing is... where's my downloads? Is this it? Downloads? Yep. We got it. Alright, guys. That's that. I know we didn't have a lot of time to play tonight, but it's 10, and I really want to be able to go to sleep consistently at 10. And I still have a little bit of meditation to do. So, alright. What we're going to do is play a little bit more Bomberman moving forward, but I'm getting Kaizo Iron Man Fire Red and Nuzlocke going. It's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so fun. And what we're going to do is keep on upgrading the studio, keep on upgrading these lessons. I'm going to learn how to get some PowerPoints in here. And I'm going to make the lesson a little bit quicker, a little bit more structured, so that we can get into the gaming. And we'll keep on having these combos of gaming, having some fun, and pairing it with this health knowledge. Alright? So I'm looking forward to it. Someday we'll do an even longer stream. You know, we're going to be doing Kaizo Ironmon with Pokemon, which is basically, you gotta beat the whole game in a challenge mode. They mod it. And so it takes a lot more time. It takes a lot of people like 1,000 resets to win this thing. So we'll be doing longer streams with like exercise breaks in between where we'll be doing like some kettlebells and some interval training like Tabata, 4 minutes to like boost that testosterone. We'll make a health smoothie. We'll be making smoothies, and I'll probably get some lunch on here. I've been making a mean spinach, pea, olive oil, avocado soup. Ugh, with thyme and oregano and Himalayan pink salt. Oh, been loving it. So that's it for tonight, but a lot of good stuff coming forward. I really can't wait to get some Kaizo, Ironmon, and a Soul Link Nuzlocke with my boy Price. We're gonna get on here. We're gonna be looking at those beautiful Pokemon. We're gonna become a Kaizo Ironmon champion with the power of imagination and visualization in under 300 resets. Watch. That'll be our experiment. I'm gonna meditate on that and create that because I'm a reality creator. Watch out. There's a new Nuzlocker and Kaizo Ironmon Pokemon Master on the scene, guys. He's coming up. Just watch out because Johnny's coming for you. Johnny's coming for the Ironmon champ. And you better believe he loves his Pokemon. And he's gonna get it. And he's gonna catch them all, baby. Peace. Have a great night.